Hey guys, Seaman235. Yeah, this is certainly very odd timing. A while ago, at the start of April, I made a little April Fool's joke on Batman v Superman, saying I would tackle the film at a later time. That never happened. There's a reason for that. I've just, had stuff to do, and, I'm pretty sure it's not really interesting to talk about here, so I'll just say I had stuff to do. That and even though I did record videos, honestly, by the time I wanted to, everyone really said everything I wanted to say. So, I honestly felt no need to actually make a video. I may make an exception on two reasons. One, because it's one of the biggest movies of the year, so maybe I'll talk about it at some point when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. Or two, I will, if I have any sort of reason to talk about it, if I have something to get off my chest, then I might talk about it. But really, this is pretty much it. But this is not a video about Batman v Superman, more is it a rant on the entirety of the DC Cinematic Universe, or the DC Extended Universe, whatever the fuck they're calling it, I don't give a shit. Honestly, I will be giving my thoughts on Batman v Superman in this video, but brief thoughts, nothing more, just brief thoughts, and I guess Man of Steel as well. Let's just, get over my opinions right now before I rant about the Extended Universe and what I think they should do next, since Zack Snyder's vision clearly isn't working. He clearly just doesn't get, either he doesn't get the characters, or he does, and he's just not the best writer. Because the thing with Snyder is that we realize that when he's just directing an adaptation, not necessarily a one-to-one adaptation, but mostly a basic adaptation, like with Watchmen, he can do it pretty well. I haven't seen Watchmen, but I've heard good things. But when it comes to an original story, like, say, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Sucker Punch, ugh, that movie was bad. When we realize that when he's actually, doing an original story, he definitely has a lot of trouble with that. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Snyder's work, but when he can do something good, it is pretty damn good. But most of that has to do with, basic not necessarily one-to-one, but mostly 90% one-to-one adaptations. So, it really just depends. It really just depends on what he's doing. But original stories are not exactly his forte. I don't know if there has been an original story that he has done that has been decent, but I didn't see any. The only movies I saw from him that had an original story, were, original in, every way except for maybe the characters coming from, comic books like Batman and Superman. The only movies I've really seen from him are, I've seen a bit of 300, not all of it, and I saw Sucker Punch, which was not very good. I saw Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, obviously, and those I did not like. And I might as well talk about Man of Steel now and, Batman v Superman. I'm not going to go into full detail, because honestly, I really can just say a lot of things that other people have already said before me, and I'm already going to repeat a lot of what they're saying, but let's just start with Man of Steel. Man of Steel I didn't like. Straight up, I didn't like it. I didn't like that Superman killed half the people he was trying to save. The idea of him going overboard and killing Zod by snapping his neck, that could have turned out to be a good idea. I'm not going to dismiss it immediately. A lot of people say that that's just a bad idea, just Superman shouldn't kill. On one hand, I can understand where they're coming from, because Superman shouldn't kill. I mean, look at Superman versus the Elite, specifically more like the Truth, Justice, and the American Way, that comic book, where Superman versus a couple of people that are known as the Elite, and that animated movie was awesome. And I never read the comic it was based off, but that movie showed and gave a reason to why Superman doesn't kill. And it explored it really well, and I'd recommend that movie, because that's not only just a really good Superman story in general, but it's just a really, really good movie. To me, it's sad that the animated stuff, It's sad, some of the animated stuff, like All-Star Superman and, Superman versus the Elite, like a lot of the animated movies when they're adapted from other comic books that have been like almost universally praised, are better than the Man of Steel and pretty much any of those Superman movies, in all honesty. But yeah, Man of Steel I didn't like. The idea of him going overboard really was not... It's a good idea on paper. It is. For a couple of reasons, and I'll get to those. But they didn't build it up. It was just thrown in there because Goyer wanted to have a few little explosions, and half of the time, Metropolis, at the end of the movie, Metropolis is a fucking wasteland because Superman just wanted to punch it out a few more times, and millions are dead. And they acknowledge this in Batman v Superman. So yes, Superman killed those people. And not to mention, Superman didn't take responsibility for any of that, and he should have. Why he didn't, I have no idea, but he didn't. Yeah, not to mention the movie itself, like the action. A lot of people praise the action for being really damn good. Okay, Batman v Superman, I will talk about the action being actually okay, but in Man of Steel, it's awful. It is awful. The camera work is terrible. It's nauseating. It's fucking noisy. It's shit. It's Bayformers levels of shit. Even worse by the fact that it's Superman and not Transformers. Because with Michael Bay, you expect that sort of shit. But God, it's like Michael Bay stepped in to direct for a while, and then just it went to complete shit. That final hour of the film, that hour-long fucking disaster piece, was just awful. And the movie before that was not much better either. Like, it constantly spouts different, like, it constantly says how great Superman is going to be, but never actually shows why Superman is so great, why he is Superman. We don't learn anything about Superman. We don't know what his morals are. We don't know what his guidelines are. The thing is, the Kents are supposed to give him his moral compass. Like they're supposed to sort of be they're his adopted parents essentially. So they're supposed to give him his moral guidelines. And not only did they screw up the Kent's characters so much to the point where they really don't have that much of an impact on Superman's life other than being raised by them, which is a significant is a significant thing, but it's even though the Kents did have a significant role in taking care of Superman, the Kents do more than just that for Superman. In fact, I'd say if it weren't for the Kents, Superman wouldn't even be a thing. So they already screwed up that aspect of the story. And the movie itself was just preachy and just preaching about how awesome Superman's going to be and how he can save them all. He can be the light that shows them the way. It's like, okay, they're great lines, but they don't mean anything if you don't show us that. Show, don't tell. It's one of the basic things of writing a story. So, I didn't like Man of Steel. The first half was boring because it was nothing but a bunch of fucking talking yaps just yapping away at these trailer-made lines. And then the second half was Bayformers with Superman suddenly in it and no giant robots. Oh, and Superman killed half the people he was trying to save because we needed that. Thanks, Goyer. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't like Man of Steel. So, how's Batman v Superman? It's better than Man of Steel. That's all I can say. It's better than Man of Steel. It's not a good movie, though. Mainly for the reasons that everyone's brought up. It's a jumbled mess. It has probably more subplots than the fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2. And already that movie was shit. But Batman v Superman, I argue, is even worse than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because not only is it supposed to be the first time Batman and Superman and even Wonder Woman are on screen together, let alone Wonder Woman's first on-screen appearance in general, and Flashes, and Green Arrows, and Aquaman's, and probably a bunch of other heroes. God fucking damn it. But yeah, not only is it the first time they're going to ever be, like, on screen, it's the first time we see Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman on screen together, let alone Batman and Superman actually fighting each other. So, already that made it even more disappointing. Because with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's a sequel to a movie I didn't like to begin with, and it had the same people behind it. Batman v Superman had a couple of different people, but also had a couple of the same people on it. But at the same time, I felt that since because it was going to be a Batman v Superman film, they would put more effort into it. But surprisingly, even though I just said it was better than Man of Steel, it surprisingly seems to have less effort put into it. I will say that Ben Affleck as Batman is the best part of the movie. Even though I don't like Batman's character because Batman for some reason kills people, including mostly criminals. He doesn't kill anyone. Like he's better than Superman in the sense that he doesn't kill citizens. So at the very least, Batman is better than Superman in that sense, but he's still killing people. And I understand you could have the argument, well, Batman's killed before. Yeah, when he needed to. Like, yeah, okay, he's killed Two-Face in the Dark Knight movies, but he was going to fucking kill Jim Gordon's son. What the fuck was he supposed to do? He was shot. I'm pretty sure he couldn't make a stealthy getaway, let alone run up and save the kid before Harvey just shot him. Well, what about Michael Keaton's Batman? He killed, and those movies, you like those movies? First off, no I don't. I mean, I acknowledge that 89 and Returns are entertaining movies, but I really don't think they've held up that well. At least I don't think they did. And while I do like Michael Keaton as Batman, I just still didn't like that Batman killed in those movies. Still didn't like it. Like, I understand Batman did kill in the original comics he was made in. Like, I believe he went around with a gun in, like, the Golden Age. Not to mention he did kill in some of the Silver Age comics as well. But here's the thing. Batman, as of right now, the modern Batman that we know today, has been established. And has been established as a man who tries not to kill people unless he has to. Like, say, for example, he's going to shoot someone, like, in the head. Like Jim Gordon's son, or Jim Gordon himself, or really anyone he cares about in general. And if he has to do that, yeah, he's gonna kill him if he has to. He doesn't want to, but he doesn't like to. Because he thinks that him killing people will make him as bad as the criminals he locks up. He also doesn't like to use a gun. Why doesn't he like to use a gun? Because of the fact that, oh, I don't know, a person with a gun killed his parents? Heck, he even, like, in Justice League Unlimited, when he's holding up a gun because the Spirit took him over and he was going, the Spirit was going to use Batman's body to shoot someone, when the Spirit was knocked out of Batman, Batman was still holding the gun, and he just started freaking out. Like, yeah, obviously, Superman told him, Bruce, it's not your fault, but he still felt like it was because he was holding the gun. Or at the very least was still freaked out. Like, he was just, it was like he had post-traumatic stress disorder. You know? It is just, that's been a major point. That's been Batman's morality has been a major focal point in a lot of stories of Batman. Mostly of modern Batman that we know him now. So, yeah, when you break away from that, when you get rid of Batman's moral compass, you're getting rid of a very big point of the character. Hell, The Dark Knight really played around with that. How Batman tried not to kill the Joker, despite Joker giving him plenty opportunities where, you know, trying to force Batman to do it. It's like, come on, hit me. That whole scene right there, where he was literally going in front of the motorcycle to see if Batman would really kill or not. That's one of the major aspects of his character. Hell, if Batman's killing people, why is the Joker still alive? Why? The Joker should be fucking dead. Now, there is one line that does imply that, you know, Alfred's saying, you know, aren't you being a bit extreme, sir, or something like that. It's like, or, like, since apparently Batman's now branding criminals in the movie, and apparently that wasn't a thing he did before. So maybe Batman didn't kill until he decided to. Like, maybe the death of Jason Todd just shook him up so much that he doesn't care anymore. And yeah, okay, that's a reason for it, and that's a reason that can justify it. But at the same time, they never address it other than a line that implies it, but never outright states that Batman never used to kill until now. So that was something I didn't like about his character. Ben Affleck, I do think, does a great job as Batman, though. He's probably the only good part of the movie. When it comes to, like, everything else, though, Henry Cavill, I liked as Superman in the first movie. Like, even though I don't think the writing was good in Man of Steel, and I don't think Superman's character was that great, I think Henry Cavill tried with what he could work with. In Batman v Superman, he really doesn't have much to do in the movie, honestly. Neither does Lois. A lot of the Superman characters don't have anything to do. It's more of a Batman movie than it is a Superman movie. You know, there are also several, things I don't like. For one thing, I thought they were gonna address the whole controversy with Man of Steel, and they kind of did that, but then they stopped halfway through. It has so many script problems, and the reason for Batman and Superman fighting is, like, Batman's side of things is covered. Like, a lot of people say that, oh, Batman's just fighting him for no reason, and Batman's a hypocrite because he's killing criminals. Yes, he's killing criminals. But, and I know this does sound like a really weird thing to say, but they're criminals. Now, granted, is it still right? Is it still justified? No, I still don't like it, but at least he's not killing civilians. Superman clearly hurt tons of civilians in Metropolis. So I am more on the side of Batman in that sense. I don't want to be on either of their sides, obviously. I'd rather be away of them fucking killing each other. But regardless, I could understand Batman's just fine. Batman's motivation was fine. It wasn't great, but you know what? It was better than Superman's. Superman's reason for fighting, like, really, the only reason why Superman fought him, like, was because he wasn't able to state the reason, okay, so, spoilers for what happens in the movie. Lex kidnaps Martha Kent, and, Superman obviously wants Batman to help him, but Lex wants him to kill Batman. So Superman tries to say, look, Bruce, I need your help, or, not Bruce, but Batman, I need your help. And obviously, Batman goes in to try and attack him. Superman, all you had to say was, my mother's in danger. Batman, help me. There you go. That's all you needed to say. But he didn't say that. He said something completely different, which, yeah, it meant the same thing, but he still said something completely different. And the way he said it was stupid, so Batman and Superman fight. Okay, yeah, Superman's defending himself, but then there are points where he's literally actually going to kill Batman, which is what Lex wants, so Superman, you're a fucking idiot. It's just, there's so many things that don't make sense. The motivations for the two characters, like, again, I said Batman's was okay, but Superman's is really weak. Stuff just happens. It's more overstuffed than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And while the fight itself is cool, you have to get through so much shit in order to get to that. It's not a good movie. It's terrible. Like, and keep in mind, all of this shit has been said by tons of other people, so I'm sorry if I'm coming off as a person who's just repeating this, but honestly, it's all I can say about the film. It's not a good movie. It really is not a good movie. Did I enjoy watching it in the theater? I enjoyed the last half hour of the movie, if only because the action was actually good, because, you see, the cameraman actually got a little invention known as a tripod, and that really helped with my enjoyment of the movie. Oh, God. It's a fucking naughty camera from Man of Steel. Okay, so now that I went on my thesis paper to why Batman v Superman and Man of Steel sucked ass, let's actually rant about what I was actually going to rant about.